So he gets arrested. He gets extradited back to Boston. His girlfriend pleads guilty to harboring a fugitive, identity fraud, conspiracy, and, to commit identity fraud and so forth. She gets 8 years in prison. So Whitey Bulger gets tried for 19 murders. And you're right, Kevin Weeks was one of the ones who actually cooperated against him.
Yeah, he was
the
main one. And they had Stephen Flemmy, he was already, cooperating. Because they caught him. When they went on the lam, they caught Flemmy right away.
Yeah, he was also tried on 32 counts of racketeering, money laundering, extortion, weapons charges, and as well as the 19 murders. He was found guilty on 31 counts. And he was involved in 11 murders based on the case. He gets 2 life sentences, consecutive, plus 5 years.
Okay.
At 81 years old.
Oh, yeah. But he, of course, yeah.
Right. So he gets transferred around. In 2018, he gets transferred to the Federal Transfer Center in Oklahoma, and then to the penitentiary in Hazelton, then West Virginia. And when he gets to Hazelton, within 2 hours, and he's in a wheelchair at the time, he gets beaten to death by a group of guys. Fotios Freddy Geas, Paul DiCalagero, and Sean McKinnon.
Right.
They used a sock wrapped with a padlock, as well as a knife. His eyes were gouged out. His tongue was cut out. Law enforcement said that he was unrecognizable. Now, you actually know one of the guys that was involved in this.
Yeah, he was in my crew, Freddy.
Freddie. Who exactly is Freddie?
So Freddie, and a lot of people don't know that. So I was in prison with his brother Ty at a young age, 1990. We were both first time ever in prison in state prison. I was 21, he was like 18. We were running wild in prison, getting in all kinds of trouble. We go from one to the other. And while we're in this other prison, his brother Freddie, who you're talking about, Freddie, we're there, comes and visits us. And that's how I meet Freddie. Ironically, and funny as it is, Freddie was a prison guard for the local county prison in Springfield.
A prison guard.
Yeah, he was a prison guard.
Okay.
And then he was from prison guard. That's all the stories. Like he went in and he did it because he hates rats and all this stuff and everything. He was a prison guard. You ask any straight up convict who they hate, and they'll tell you cops, prosecutors, FBI, any type of law enforcement, and prison guards. They hate him. So he was a prison guard. So all the media built up stories on that is exactly what that is. But he worked at his family's jewelry store. They were a crazy family. I got along great with them because I'm crazy. We're all nuts in our own ways. And we instantly took a liking. Me and Ty had plans when we were coming out of prison to do big things on the streets because we were just starting off my career as you could say, an organized criminal way. Being in state prison was the best thing that ever happened to me. I learned so much from older criminals, especially about organized crime activity, about making money on the streets. That's why when I got out, I got big into the marijuana business. And so Ty was supposed to join me. He was beating up jail guards while he beat up this Spanish guy in our unit. It was the last straw for him. We were told that we got warned, next trouble, we're shipping out. He went to Walpole, Mass. Walpole is one of the dangerous prisons in the America. He goes over there, young kid, impressionable, card spits on the floor. One of the older inmates that are there doing a life that actually Whitey Bulger framed this kid. He overturned his case, Freddie Weichel. He overturned it. Whitey framed him for the murder. And now because of that, he did like 30, 40 years in prison. He overturned it. Ty ends up beating up the Freddy's brother, Ty. Freddy Geas, his brother, Ty Geas, beats up the prison guard so bad that the guy had to permanently retire. He broke his face apart. They beat up Ty in retaliation for that viciously. He was supposed to come home in 1991 in March. I came home in 1991 in February. He ends up having to do 5 more years. When I got out in March, that's when me and Freddie become good friends. Freddie wasn't a organized crime criminal. He was, like I said, a prison guard. He was working for his family's jewelry store. He was married. He had a kid, another one on the way, and he was a scammer type criminal. He worked at his family's jewelry store. He would scam credit cards, get the numbers, go out and buy jewelry with it. We did, we robbed and hijacked trucks. He was a score guy. We hijacked tractor trailer trucks. We robbed drug dealers. He was that type of a criminal, but he was like a score type guy. He wasn't like me. I was a hustler. I had it coming in. I had rackets that were bringing me money every day and every week. He was just like rob a drug dealer, hijack a truck, those type of scores. And that's just exactly what he was. He was a good friend to have around if violence had to be, but he wasn't my only, he wasn't one of the most violent that I had around me back then. This was like in the early 90s to mid 90s. And he wasn't organized crime criminal. I had my own organized crime criminal guys around me at that time, and I had a big crew throughout Connecticut. What Freddy changed was, and he became a different man, I would say, is because state prison will change you, especially Massachusetts. It's a very violent prison system. Anybody that goes there, he ended up getting 4 years they robbed some computers or whatever, and he had to go through 4 years. He went in around 96, 97. He got out in 01. Now he was like, you could tell he was a little changed. He was around seasoned gangsters that had murders under their belt. He liked the fact that they had murders and they participated in murders, and you could tell he wanted to be a part of that and participate in murders. So when he got out in 01, that's when he and his brother got out around the same time for his second bid, and that's when Freddy became more of around me more, but more in organized crime circles ways. So in 01, he started coming around me more, getting involved in more of my rackets. Like I got him involved in a marijuana business. He was never involved in any of my sports, loan sharking, numbers, vendings, until I took over in 03, and then I got him involved in some vendings and things like that. And they made a lot of money with me. They were probably making $60,000, $70,000 a month just with me, never mind all the other stuff that they had going on. So that's his story, basically, quickly as I can say it, when he came home from prison in 01, that's when he was more, he liked that type of life, you could tell. And they were, like I said, crazy family, tough family, good family, and we were all crazy and tough and good, together. We were a bad combination, you could say, when it came to that, with us, when it came to doing things.
So was he a hitman?
No, he wasn't a hitman. He didn't kill anybody without me being right next to his side. I mean, was he a killer? Yeah. Am I a killer? Yeah.
How many people did he kill?
Same amount that I did.
Two?
Same amount of shootings as I did.
Okay.
He never went out. They describe him as my muscle. How are they my muscle when every shooting that we did, he was the driver on one of the shootings. Me and his brother were the shooters in New York City.
Okay.
So it's like, how are you my muscle when every murder that I'm doing with you, I'm participating in with you. And I'm actually the shooter, the violence. I'm there with the beatings that we're giving guys. I'm actually there in the beatings, the other guys that were shooting and stabbing and clubbing, I'm actually there doing it with you. So they were just friends that were like me. And at a particular time, if I needed them to go on a hit with me, I would choose them. I had a big crew if I needed someone else to go and give someone a beating, but I would always go with the people I always sent.
Okay, so what was he in prison for during the Whitey Bulger situation?
So he ended up, the Bruno murder happened in 03. The shooter in the Bruno murder cooperated in 06 on the eve of 07. He was supposed to start trial on a state murder case. The day before, 2 days before, he makes a deal with the government. So I'm going back. You asked why he was in there when Bulger got killed. He was doing a life sentence for murders.
Okay.
Yeah.